Thanks for joining us on Market Day Report this Wednesday. I'm Mark Oppold. Well, after a hearing on Tuesday, it looks more likely that the Senate Ag Committee will confirm Steve Chensky and Ted McKinney to their roles at USDA after being nominated for those top spots in the department more than 60 days ago. The two now await approval from the entire U.S. Senate. Chensky is a lifetime ag professional, former head of the American Soybean Association, and will take on the role of deputy secretary, which is often considered really the de facto head of the department. McKinney is nominated to the newly created position of Undersecretary for Trade. That's a position that was required in the 2014 Farm Bill. Now, if confirmed by the full Senate, McKinney may have an uphill battle, many say, given the current trade challenges.
Do no harm, in my view, means we sustain the baseline. I won't be satisfied with that. You said yourself that we're facing a tough patch in terms of many of our commodities, and my goal is to lift those up ever higher. So I think do no harm, as I interpret it, would be to hold that baseline and look for opportunities for growth across all of our American ag sector.
Tuesday's hearing was also notable when it comes to who was not at the table. Sam Clovis, who was nominated to be the chief scientist at USDA at the time, as Chensky, same time Chensky and McKinney, has been held up in committee due to controversy over his qualifications and some prior statements. Farmers descend on Washington to discuss farm policy with lawmakers and to make announcements of their own. Sarah Mock details on a new grass-fed dairy label from our nation's capital.
Farmers usually shy away from talk of food labeling, but dairy producers themselves have stepped up to champion a new standard.
And one of the things that's really evolved in the last few years is grass-fed dairy, refining the art of pasture, not feeding grain. Farmers on their own were going towards more and more grazing and less grain, and the consumers are there too. So we're proud tonight to announce a process that we started with Maple Hill, who was the pioneer in grass-fed dairy, and we really felt the standard that it claimed needs protection.
The organic industry has advocated for instituting and enforcing guidelines around their products, and given recent cases of fraud, defining standards and a label were a top priority. Developing practices and guidelines have required significant new research, and farmer representatives praise the organic industry's scientific contributions as a boon for all of agriculture.
There's so much science that you all are leading in the development of. And much of the rest of conventional agriculture has all of sort of the conventional land grant system, all the big players and the input suppliers that are sort of directing what gets studied and what information is made available that farmers use in order to figure out how to raise a crop or grow livestock. And that's not really been true in organic. And much of what's been now becoming more mainstream in conventional agriculture is what happens in the soil.
At this label's launch, farmers told stories of their own experiences and those of their neighbors moving to grass-fed dairy.
One feller I worked with about 2 years ago, and he was fairly close. He lived about 4 or 5 miles from me, and he's always been a conventional farmer, kept his cows in. And I went to see him, and he said, you know, I'm really thinking about going organic. You know, it's something I really am interested in. So I did say to him, I said, you know, you got to let your cows out of the barn. So he did go through transition, and he said, I've had my cows out for over a year now, and I didn't know they could be so healthy.
Grass-fed dairy farmers hope that formal standards will help them earn a greater premium for their products as consumers learn and understand more about their innovative practices. For RFD-TV, I'm Sarah Mock in Washington.
A design for the grass-fed label hasn't been decided on, but Organic Valley and Maple Hill hope to move forward with the process through USDA's Organic Standards Board in the near future.